The latest episode of the Challenge USA saw two players eliminated, and this time around for the guys, it was Lewis from The Amazing Race that fell short. So Lewis joins me now. Congrats on a great first season, first of all. Also, how are you?
I'm great this morning. It's kind of tough to see you get your butt kicked on TV, but I'm doing good this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great positive outlook with that. So, as I mentioned, this was your first season on the challenge. So, did it meet your original expectations? And what exactly was your game plan going in?
It was way harder than I thought, Blake. Coming in, my original show was The Amazing Race, where there's no secret voting at all. There's barely any politicking. And I come into a house. I knew I was going to do some politicking, but it turns out that the secret vote just put me in an atmosphere that I'm just not used to.
Yeah.
So it was way, way, way harder than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive in a little bit more into that. So how did the challenge compare to the Amazing Race? Because, you didn't have a whole lot of allies per se going into this, but on the Amazing Race, you competed with your wife.
Exactly. It's just so much different because on Amazing Race, it's just about you and your performance, right? And coming into the challenge, that's what I was excited about. Doing challenges, doing all these crazy tasks, all these fun tasks. But on the amazing on the challenge, it was just way, way tougher than I thought because one, it's not teams of two now. We went into teams, teams of eight. I'm used to doing tasks with just one other person, so I saw myself going into the challenge saying, hey, I could do this, with one other person. We could win. So that was different. And just coming in, my only ally was one other person. I had no connections coming into this house while everybody else had a connection. But I told myself, in order for me to win this season, I got to win 4 or 5 eliminations
Yeah.
because I knew I was going to go in multiple times. I just didn't have the connections that other people had in this house. And yeah, I'm 0 for 1 elimination, so that didn't happen.
Well, that's okay. Now, you touched on this just briefly there, but how did you feel about only having one other Amazing Racer on the show with you? Because this is something we've seen a lot from fans on social media. There's a lot of survivors in there, a lot of Big Brothers, even multiple MTV vets, but then there's just 2 Amazing Racers on the show.
Yeah, what did I feel? Did I feel surprised? No, because season 1 they only had 3. I wish we would have had at least 3. That would have been nice. So coming in, I told myself, hey, I know this is going to be an uphill battle. And yeah, just having just one other person for my show was going to be difficult. But hey, I told myself, hey, I know what I got to do. I got to compete and just it's just the secret voting, just do another thing that I'm just not used to. And that was also the difficult part.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with that, so the other Amazing Racer in the game was Dusty, and we see you in the episode after your name on the ball for the hopper is put on the wall. You kind of seem frustrated. You're like, did Dusty not take up for me? After seeing the episode, do you feel like he stood up for you enough, or how did you feel about the way that situation was handled?
It turns out that Dusty and I were on just pretty much different sides of the house. It showed in that episode that if he compromised, if he could have voted, helped out Desi, he could have helped out me as well. And he chose not to do that. He chose to keep Wes stay safe. In turn, that put me in. And what else can I say? I thought we had a game plan. I thought we had something going together, but he decided to go more towards the vet side of the house, and I was on the opposite side of the house, and that's just how that happened, Blake.
That's just how the cards played. Yeah, he really kind of was like a vet super fan in a kind of weird way. But anyway, so you end up in elimination against Survivor winner Chris. So were you confident in a physical-based elimination, or would you have preferred something else?
I was one of the smallest dudes in that house. Going into a physical elimination, I wasn't the most confident. In my head, I try to psych myself up, but there's always that little creep of doubt because I see the size of these dudes. So me personally, if I see a hall brawl or a pole wrestle, I'm not too excited about those.
Yeah.
Give me a puzzle. Give me a math problem. Give me some type of carnival game. That'll be great. But at the end, I did not get that. I got Chris. Chris is a big dude. I put up a good fight, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, one of the season's biggest twists was the hopper, where essentially your opponent is decided for you, kind of based off fate, off how your other housemates choose to vote. So if you could have picked your opponent for elimination, who would you have called out?
If I could have picked somebody, maybe somebody smaller than me, but I didn't want to pick anybody on my team. So I had to be on the blue team, nobody on the green team. I'm not putting in Monty or Tyler. Those are my boys. And
Sure.
I loved Wes to death because he was a great asset for our team. So I'm eliminating someone on my team. Who can I put in? I did vote for Chris. I think the other option would have been either Sebastian or Bananas. Bananas is just he's very experienced, and I was thinking about putting Bananas in, but it's just Bananas. He has just way too much experience, and people talked me into, hey, your goal is to come back.
Yeah.
Bananas has a lot of experience with those carnival games, with all those other eliminations. So I think it had to be Sebastian at the end of the day. If there was somebody else, I would have put it in.
Okay, interesting answer. Now, Luis, would you return to the show again? And if you would, could we potentially expect your wife and Amazing Race partner to appear with you?
I think that's the only way I'll come back, Blake.
Okay, interesting answer.
I think that's the only way I'll come back. Here's the thing too, man. This, like I said, that secret voting, the whispers, the lies, I'm not used to that. I don't see that. And Big Brother and Survivor, that's their game. And I was more stressed out. I'm sorry, that's the Roomba back there. It's
It's okay.
really loud. But but basically Big Brother and Survivor, that's their game. And I wasn't really what's the word? What can I use? Like I wish I was just more stressed. I was just more stressed being in the house. And I would easily come back if I knew there wasn't secret voting, because I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
There's a special tenacity that people have to sign up for that.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And I love watching it on TV. But at the end of the day, this is not my game. That's not what I signed up for with the Amazing Race. And the only way I'll come back if my wife is with me.
Hey, I get that. Automatically having someone you can trust is huge. Now, my final question for you, what was your biggest takeaway from being on the challenge?
My biggest takeaway, I just have so much more respect for those vets. You know, in the beginning of the game, I just feel like, I'm not going to listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about, but it's so true. Everything they said, like just trying to give advice, like, in the beginning I was trying to get the vets out, but after a while I just feel like, man, these vets, maybe I could see myself working with them. I remember Bananas telling me, hey, every single day, you can't plan 5 steps ahead, because every single day something new comes up. You just have to plan for the next day. And I was just like, at first I'm just like, nah, man, you have to have a game plan for the end. That's not true, man. Every day things change. Every day something new happened that will affect the whole house. And he was right. Like I had just, my takeaway is pretty much, those vets, Wes, Bananas, Corey, and those girls, that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Luis, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thanks, Blake.
Huge congrats again on your first season. Also, best of luck in whatever's next for you. And we hope to see you and your wife on our screens soon.